What have you worked on over the break, Sauce?
I guess the things we've worked on all year. It's been, I guess, a main focus, which has been publicly spoken about. It's our contested stuff, which is obviously an important part for us, and just tied it up on a bit of team D and also a bit of Crow's ball. So where we're at, I guess we've been okay in all areas. So it's just a good chance to refresh and just tighten up a few things.
Did the bye come at a good time for you guys? Do you think?
I don't know. We haven't spoken about that. We felt we were playing pretty good footy right up into the bye. Our St Kilda game was a pretty strong game, but as a group we just looked at it as a chance to refresh and just came when it came.
Get up to anything with your time off?
Yeah.
Tan or anything like that?
Tan. Just had a chance to get back home, so pretty low key. Went back to York Peninsula and spent a bit of time with my wife and a couple of dogs and just relaxed and played a little bit of golf.
For you personally, Sam, you're I think leading the competition in hitouts. Do you feel like you're playing the best footy of your career at the moment?
Yeah, I think I'd be near it. I guess hitouts. It's probably not the best stat that I'll look at. It's more the hitouts to advantage and connection with my mid. So, I do feel I'm a lot, more well-rounded at the moment. I guess I'm, just chasing that consistency, which I guess that's what I've been able to do a bit this year.
Your ability to take contested marks this year, certainly your numbers this year compared to last year, was that a huge focus of yours in the off-season? Is that something you've really worked on? Yeah,
definitely. But it's probably something I've worked hard on my whole career, and it's probably, I'm into my 11th year and I'm still trying to fine-tune it, I guess. So, I'm getting, a bit of reward for the effort I have put in, and nice, in the second half of the year I can, continue that and I guess keep being really strong in the air.
Just on training today, Sam, were you with the main group for all of training? I saw, I think, for the first part, you did some separate stuff with Curly Hampton. Did you train with the main group?
Nah, not today. So it was just a bit of body management. We had a pretty strong session Saturday, and I guess I'm getting older now, and I've played every game this year as well. So I guess it's a good chance, to have more of a hit out on Saturday, which gives me a bit more time leading into the game on Thursday.
Couple of boys in Crook, so.
Yeah, it is. It's gone around a bit. So we've all had our little dose. So I got mine last week as well, during my break, which wasn't ideal. But I guess it's that time of year when you've been up for 12, 15 weeks now with the NAB Cup as well, when your body gets arrested.
Given the experience of last year, will you personally need a break at some stage in the back half of the season?
Yeah, I don't know. I reckon I was sort of having a think over the bye, and I reckon the byes are spread out pretty well now for us. After the JLT, we had a break there, and then we've played 12, another break, and then 10 weeks, and then we've got another break then. Hopefully leading into finals. So I think there's probably spaced pretty well at the moment. So I don't probably see a need to as we look at it.
Got Brownie, Mitch, and Paul all out there on the track today. I mean, I know you mentioned boys with Crook, but you guys once again have a really clean bill of health.
Yeah, the PPT staff have been fantastic this year. They've worked really hard to get those guys in, and Cheney's probably the other one you can throw in that bracket as well. That we saw probably Gov, Seeds, and Cheney a lot last year. Brownie's obviously been a mainstay for a few years now, so starting to get a lot of those guys back. We've got a lot. Like I say, our SANFL form's really strong leading into the bye as well, so it's a good spot to be in. So there's a lot of pressure on the 22 that's playing.
Sam, could you touch on Mitch for a sec? Obviously, a pretty serious injury, but back in the SANFL a fortnight ago, he played really well. It seems like he's managed himself really well to come back from it. How's he kind of shaping up at the moment?
Yeah, really well. He's I'm not sure if you watched the game at Norwood, but he's sort of playing, I guess, an AFL standard at SANFL. Even though he only had 13 touches, they were really high quality, and he brings so much to us on our Team D side as well. He's a really dynamic player. He's a really strong tackler, and we all know what he can do in the air. So he adds a lot to our team, and it's going to be an interesting decision for the coaches.
Halfway through. Oh, sorry, go on, Tim.
I was just going to say, how does he fit back in? Obviously, I think you'd want to have him out there, but you've got so many key tools. You'd imagine someone's going to miss out.
Yeah, and I guess Otto brings that real versatility now where he can play back as well. So fortunately, as I mentioned, I'm not a selector, which is probably a good thing, as it's going to be hard to fit these guys in. And he's not alone, as you mentioned before, with Seeds and Cheney and Brown, all these guys really pushing their claim to get back into the team. So it's going to be hard.
Just change topic onto your craft. Now it's been halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us about how you feel that the third man up rules progressed in the first half?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Not from the sense that you know, we weren't a high third man up team anyway, but I reckon it's good. It's just bringing a bit of craftsmanship back to the ruckman. You can see now if you got a dominating ruckman, you can get some really good value from it. So I think it's been a really positive move by the league, and it's another successful one.
And your craft as well. How do you feel like you're going? I mean, it's a lot more than just picking a time to bash the ball clear. When you talk about, tell us a little bit about how you're trying to get taps and. Yeah, I guess as mentioned before, the hit out stats, I guess in isolation, that's I guess means you're getting your hand to the ball, but I guess the most important stats hit out to advantage, and that's the connection with your midfielders, and that's what you want. So I reckon now you're sort of starting to see that throughout the league. Sandilands before he got injured, Mumford and Grundy. There's a whole host of ruckmen who are having fantastic years. For that reason, I reckon it's bringing, as I mentioned, a bit of craftsmanship back there, and it's important to have that connection with your midfielders. Has it been boosted, the role of the ruckman? All of a sudden it's now far more relevant than what it might have been? Or is it the other way around? Because as we've chatted about before, teams sometimes don't play a ruck. They just let Bontempelli or they let anyone contest.
I think you see a lot of the guys now, they're really strong athletes now, and you see, Cruiser and Grundy and Mummy, these guys they're really, strong tacklers. I think as a ruckman you have to be able to bring more than purely just your ruck stuff, and I reckon now you're seeing a lot more, dynamic ruckmen, and I think gone are probably the days of being able to play two, but obviously certainly one, and it is interesting. You go from playing against a number one ruckman to these days. With their second ruckman, they're generally putting sometimes I've rucked against one of my best mates, Sean Grigg, who's sort of your size. So the second ruck's probably changing a bit, but I'm also finding that you spend a lot of the game opposed to just the other ruckman.
Do you feel like you've got a good connection with your midfield now? One of the knocks on the Crows was the midfield probably wasn't up to the elite standard. That was kind of a generalised comment, but you said you've got a good connection with them now. Do you feel like they're entering that tier in the elite?
Oh, I've always had full confidence in our mids. I'm not sure where that sort of, that sort of stuff come from. We're a strong we're a number one contested ball team in the league, and we've got some really strong players. And at the moment, we've got Scott Thompson, who to me is probably the best player I've played with, and he's in the SANFL at the moment trying to get back in. So I reckon it shows that we've got great depth in the midfield. Sloaney's obviously been a mainstay with Dougie for a few years now. I've played a lot of footy with them, and I'm starting to get that synergy with the Crouch boys now as well. So I reckon we've got a real flexible midfield, and I reckon it's going to be a strong one for a few years to come yet.
How's your relationship going with Hugh? We saw, I guess, as more and more are targeting Sloaney and trying to tag him, is it a bit sort of opposition to the wear? Like, you go with Sloaney, but you got one tough nut there in Hugh Greenwood.
He certainly brought something different to the midfield. He's a bit taller than, I guess, the rest of the guys, and we've seen against Freo he's able to go sort of head to head with Fife around the contest, which is really good. He's his physical side's really strong around the contest. He's a really good tackler, and I think the St Kilda game he had 17 touches and 16 of them contested. So just shows he's really strong around the ball, and he's one of my best mates at the club. So I've got a pretty good relationship with him, and starting to, I guess, build that on-field synergy.
I guess for form like that, does it to you make it a bit laughable, this no Sloan, no Crows sort of comment when you see those sort of numbers? Yeah,
absolutely. I reckon we've got some great depth in there, and I guess if teams want to do that, it's up to us as midfielders to lift. I guess we're not just relying on Sloaney. Sloaney's a fantastic player, and he can give us plenty in other ways, which you've probably seen now. I reckon he's managing really well with the tag now. It does take time to, I guess, find your feet as it'd be pretty hard. But as a midfielder in the club, I think we're getting better at helping him out, and I'm sure we'll have another strong second half of the year.
Just back on your own role again. We talk about the change in, I guess, the number one and the number two, but given now how much is asked of the first ruckman, you mentioned managing your body, is the requirement and the effort on first ruckman now harder than it's ever been in your career?
I reckon if you have a look at it, I reckon definitely it's a really high responsible role. As you see, if you're having a bad day, there's obviously a lot of pressure on you to perform and get it right. But we're fortunate as a club. We've got Josh Jenkins, who's a really capable ruckman in his own right. We've seen Andy Otten come in and do the role. So at our club, I think we're pretty well covered if I was to go down or something like that. And at the same time, we've got Riley O'Brien. He's playing really strong footy. He's been fantastic this year, and he's waiting for his opportunity as well. So. I think that's a good thing. We've actually got blokes really capable of being able to play that second role really well, and hopefully we can use that as an advantage.
What do you make of a banged up Hawthorn source?
pretty dangerous still. We saw a couple of weeks ago they played Sydney on a Friday night. I think they're the only team to beat Sydney in the last 6 weeks. So, and as we know, Sydney are really starting to come now. So, I think you'd be silly to ride a team and Alistair Clarkson coach team off. So, you know, I guess we know that they're, you know, a really skilled team, and we've got to try and stop that.
We got someone to prove, you reckon, here in Adelaide. They were probably nothing short of horrendous on their last trip to Adelaide against you guys. But that game a couple of weeks ago was not their best.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, they've had an up and down season, but you know, at the same time, they're the champion, the recent champions of the league, and they've got some fantastic players. And I think Luke Hodge will probably come back in. I think Grant Birchall's close as well. And you know, these are, you know, champions of the game. You know, so it's going to be another good contest, and we have to start well.